Hello, everyone. I'm Jay O'Brien in Washington. We're following breaking news at this hour with the criminal trial of Donald Trump. It is adjourned now for the day. The judge in that trial saying opening statements will begin on Monday. The former president speaking just moments ago. Take a listen.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We just had another hearing, and the trial starts on Monday, which is long before a lot of people thought. The judge wants us to go as fast as possible. That's for his reasons, not for my reasons. And this is really a concerted witch hunt. Very simple. Everything you heard in there, this is a witch hunt by numerous judges, Democrat judges. You take a look at it, Engoron is a whack job. What he did was a disgrace. It's being reviewed by the appellate division. And I hope they do justice, because everybody's looking, and no business is coming into the city. None whatsoever. They're looking at that case. That case is a threat to democracy, frankly, what took place with the AG. A crooked AG, Letitia James, who campaigned in the fact that I'm going to get Trump, I'm going to get Trump. That's all she said for 2 years. And people don't want to see this stuff. When you have violent criminals all over the streets of New York and nothing happens to them, even when they catch them, they let them go. No bail whatsoever. So this is just a concerted witch hunt, whether it's Judge Kaplan with a person I have no idea until they called and said they're suing us. I had no idea who this person was, or this judge, or if you look at Engoron, where he said that Mar-a-Lago, which if it was worth $1 billion or $1.5 billion, he said it was worth $18 million because that suited his narrative. But what's happening in this city, and all over the country, but what's happening in particular in this city, some are very good, by the way, some are very fair. Those are really the cities that are thriving. But what's happening here with the judicial system is an outrage, and all over the world they're watching it, and all over the world they're seeing it. This is a giant witch hunt to try and hurt a campaign that's beating the worst president in history. Biden's the worst president in the history of our country, beating him by a lot. And this is the only way they think they can win, but it's not going to work. Thank you very much.
A sight you have seen before and you will see again. The former president emerging from a courtroom there talking about the confluence of his campaign and his legal woes. I want to bring in ABC News legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer now. Brian, first things first, we have a jury today. They got the requisite alternates that they needed. Is this case moving faster than you thought it would?
Absolutely. I think even the judge had projected that we would have a jury selected after 2 weeks. We've got it after not even a full week, because don't forget, there was a lot of housekeeping that was done on Monday. And so I think this is faster than anyone expected. And I'll go on the record. I know John Santucci likes it. I was wrong. I thought it was going to be 3 weeks. But we have a jury, and we're expecting to have opening statements come Monday, probably with some more housekeeping early on in the morning before we jump into it. Don't forget, there's still that argument that Donald Trump should be held in contempt of court, according to the prosecutors.
Be forgiven, because jury selection got off to a rocky start. There were a lot of people who said, look, they just didn't feel like they could be impartial here. Also, there's a lot of back and forth going on in that courtroom between the Trump defense attorney and the prosecutors and the judge. I want to read you something the judge said, according to our Aaron Katersky, who's been in court. He said this to Trump's attorneys today when they were filing another request for another thing. There comes a point where you accept my rulings. That was him saying to them, give it a rest. Stop challenging everything I do. Is that a strategy on behalf of the Trump legal team here?
If it's a strategy, it's not a smart one. I understand the reasoning behind it. I just don't think the execution is appropriate. I've said this before, both in the court and on air. When you're in a trial court like this, sometimes you're talking to two judges at once. Both the judge in front of you, who is making the decision for the trial, but also the judge who ultimately will review this judge's decisions if you are to lose and go to appeal. So I understand raising the arguments of saying, yes, I want to make an emergency stay. I want to have a change of venue. I want to object to your for-cause challenge of allowing this juror to come in. I want to object to this. I get that. But once the judge makes the ruling, it's very similar to any kind of sports analogy you want to give, where the ref, the ump, whoever, once they make that decision, it's done. Then you move on to an appropriate appeal at the appropriate time. But you don't hash it out with the judge then and there.
Brian Buckmeyer breaking it all down for us. The first week ever in American history with a former president on trial has concluded. Brian, thank you.